Good day, grade 10 learners. Welcome to our mathematics lesson. I am Sikhulile Ncube. This lesson is proudly brought to you by the Gauteng Department of Education. Okay, right. What are we going to do today, grade 10s? We are going to look at the algebraic fractions. What did you do in the previous lessons? We did factorization. So today we're going to apply what we learned when we did factorization in simplifying algebraic fractions. Okay, remember our WhatsApp line 064 748 8913. Are you happy to be in the lesson? I really hope so. Make sure that your books are ready and your pen, everything. We are going to be doing the lesson together. Don't just sit there and watch me. We are doing this together. If I give you work to do, you do it. Even the examples that I'm going to be giving you, try to be ahead of me. Okay, I'll be guiding you. I'll try to be slow so that we move together. But if I do move fast, please make sure that you tell us so that we can try to adjust our speed. Okay, right, let's go straight to the lesson objectives. At the end of the lesson, you should be able to what? Simplify algebraic fractions using factorization. Do you see that? When did you do factorization? We did in the previous lesson, also in grade 8 and 9, with focus on division and multiplication. Is it going to be different from the way we multiply and divide numerical fractions? No, not different. The way we multiply numerical fractions is just the way we are going to use today. Same way. So don't think that is going to be difficult. Very, very easy. Right, we are going to simplify algebraic fractions using factorization with focus on addition and subtraction. So it means all the four operations. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to multiply, divide, add, and subtract fractions using, please take note of this, factorization. How many factorizations have we learned? Factorizations, highest common factor. You look out for those things when you're simplifying algebraic fractions. Highest common factor, a factorization of the trinomial, right? Difference of two squares, and then difference and sum of two cubes. Those four. Check out for those things. Once you understand those things, then we are done. You'll be fine. Okay? Right. Now remember, in grade 8 and 9, even in the previous lessons, we did factorization. We also did algebraic expressions. We're going to apply that in today's lesson. Right, let's go straight to our baseline activity. Okay, I'm going to give you 4 minutes. 2 minutes for A, and then 2 minutes for B. And then after that, we'll discuss these two. And then we move on to the main part of our lesson. Let's try this for 4 minutes. Welcome back, grade 10s. Thank you very much for the questions from Luandilwazi. The question is, how do you find LCD, the lowest common denominator? Right, I'm going to answer that as we move to the next questions, okay? How do we find the LCD? It's a very, very good question, because when you're dealing with fractions, especially when you're adding them and subtracting them, you have to find the lowest common denominator. Just wait, and then when I cover that, I'll try to emphasize so that you're answered. Remember, 064 748 8913. Okay, now let's look at question A. What did I say, grade 10s? I said for you to simplify fractions, algebraic fractions, what must you do? Do you remember anything that I mentioned? I said we are going to use what? Factorization. Do you remember that? Okay, so for you to simplify algebraic fractions, look for the things you can factorize. Look at this denominator. Look at this numerator. Look at this numerator. Look at this denominator. Okay, 2 minus 6x. Can you factorize that? Can you factorize that? Yes, we can, because there is the highest common factor, which is 2. So we are going to factorize 2 minus 6x. Can you factorize the denominator? No, we can't. So let's factorize what we can factorize. Right, now we can factorize the numerator. Let's factorize the numerator. So what is that? That is the highest common factor there, which is 2. So what do we do? 2 minus 6x. Remember, we did this, and then we factor out 2, and then we say 2 divided by 2. I said we skip this step, but let me just remind you. And then 6x divided by 2, and then you get 2 outside, then 1 minus 3x. You see that? When you factorize, you get that. So now, this is what we get. You see that? And then the denominator is 1 minus 3x. What do you see there? Same bracket. Let me call them brackets. You see this? Same brackets there. Okay? Can we cancel the same brackets? Yes. I cancel the identical brackets. But I don't like cancelling, because people, when you say cancel, it's like things disappear. We are dividing this bracket, okay, by this bracket. 1 minus 3x divided by 1 minus 3x. Then you get 1, not 0. Okay, so we're dividing identical brackets, and then we're getting 1. So what do we remain with here? We remain with 2. Okay, so we remain with 2 there. You see that? Okay, let's move on to the next one. Did you get this one correct? Right, remember, grade 10s, what we did when you're dealing with what? Numerical fractions. Right, let's say we are adding 2 over 5 plus 1 over 5. What is the answer there? What is the answer? Is it 3 over 5? Yes, it is 3 over 5. How do we get 3 over 5? We just add the numerators. The denominator is the same. The common denominator is the same here. So we write 5 there. Then we add the numerators is 3 over 5. Is it the same thing when you come to this? Do they have the same denominator? X plus 2, x plus 2. You see that? So we just what? We just add the numerators, because the denominators are what? Are the same. You see that I've said x plus 3 here. And then the denominators is just x plus 2. Just like we did with the numerical fraction there. Okay? Can we simplify the numerator? Yes, we can simplify the numerator. Is 4x over x plus 2. How many people got it right? Mark your work. Okay? Right, let's move on now. We've done our baseline activity. Right. Some of the things here is what we're going to be doing during the lesson. Okay? Remember this, grade 10s. If the denominators are the same, you just have to put it there as one single denominator, and then you add the numerators. It's going to be x plus y over m. Even if it's subtraction, it's the same thing. Okay? Minus y over m. It is going to be x minus y over m. Don't forget that. Okay? And then multiplication is even easier than I think it is easier than addition and subtraction, because I don't need to do anything. It's just numerator times numerator denominator times denominator. That's multiplication. When I'm multiplying fractions, numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. Like if you say 2 over 5 times 1 over, let me put 3, times 3 over 5. You just say 2 times 3, which is 6, then 5 times 5, which is 25. You see that? Numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. That's multiplication. And then you can see if you can what? You have the highest common factor, then you can what? Divide by that. And then division. Division, it goes back to multiplication, because what do? We tip. What is to tip? Upside down. My head goes down, my legs go up, like that. So, for example, if you have got A over D, and then it becomes D over A. We invert. You say invert. So we use tip so that you can remember this. Tip and times. Tip and times. So now you see here, the C over D becomes D over C. Now this is changed to times from division. So we say tip and times. And then you just concentrate on that. What is A times D? AD. What is B times C? BC. Right. So when you're dividing tip and times, that is 1 mark. You see a fraction or fractions, you are dividing fractions. 1 mark is for tipping and timesing. Is it something okay? I'm not sure if that English is fine. Tip and times. Okay. Right. Now, this is an example. What did I say? For you to simplify fractions, you must what? You must factorize. So I'm going to do this with you. But if you can't be ahead of me, try that. Okay? If you can't be ahead of me, try that. But I have an activity which is similar to this after this. Okay? Try to be ahead. Try to be fast. Try to be ahead if you can. But let's do it together. I can see here I have the numerator. I have the denominator. What is this numerator? It is a quadratic trinomial. Can I factorize it? Yes, I can factorize it. Okay? The denominator is a binomial. Can I factorize it? Yes, I can factorize it. So now the next step is just to factorize those two and see what you're going to get. So learners, please remember this. When you're dealing with algebraic fractions, factorize. That's where your marks are coming from. Just to factorize, you find this question is having 5 marks. The 5 marks are not going to come from the answer. We're not going to put 5 ticks on the answer. No, the marks are coming from the process. The process is what? Factorization. Okay, now factorize. You'll get a mark for that, right? We have x squared minus 3x minus 10, right? What does this minus tell us? Remember, we're revising what you did in the previous lesson. It shows that one factor is positive, the other factor is negative. And then what does this one tell us? It shows us that the bigger factor is negative. Okay, so the factors here can be what? Let's look at the factors of 10. We have 1 goes with 10. 1 in 10 cannot give us 3 or negative 3. And then we have 2 and 5. 2 and 5, yes. If 5 is negative and 2 is positive, then we'll get negative 3. So it means this is the combination we want. And then we can clearly say it's x minus 5, x plus 2. Remember, the coefficient of x squared is 1 here, so we don't need to do the long thing. Okay, some people use this. You say x, first term, x, and then x. And then the second term I can check, try and error checking. What could be the factors here? It can be minus 5, it can be positive 2. There, like we have here. And then cross multiply, becomes minus 5x. Here, x times 2 becomes 2x. And then negative 5x plus 2 is negative 3x. You see, we're getting the middle term. Then, therefore, our factors are x minus 5, then x plus 2. You see that? Okay, so now we factorize our numerator. Let's go to the denominator. What is it? 3x plus 6. Let's factorize that. How many people managed to factorize that? What is the highest common factor? 3. Factor out 3. Then you say 3, then x plus 2. You see that? So let's factorize. Let's put our things that we have done here. Okay, so if you see that I have this, I factorized, I'm getting my mark here. I factorized this correctly, I'm getting my mark here. You see that? We have 2 marks. Maybe this is 3 marks. We have 2 out of 3 already. Where did you get the marks from? From factorization. Okay, now let's simplify. Can we divide? Can we cancel the like brackets? Yes. X plus 2 divided by x plus 2 is 1. We remain with x minus 5 over 3. Done. 3 out of 3. Okay. Right, now I'm going to give you time. I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to try this one. 3 minutes. Let's try this one. Welcome back, grade 10s. I really hope you managed to get the correct answer. Did you manage? Okay, please send us your feedback. 064 748 8913. Questions, please send us your questions. Send us your work if you can. Right, now let's do this together. Grade 10s, did you manage to do it? Right, if you check the numerator is a quadratic trinomial, we can factorize this. Okay, maybe you have your own method that is working, please use it. Okay, but now let's try to do it together. So we have x squared plus x minus 12. So what does the sign of 12 there minus mean? It means that one of the factors is negative and the other factor is positive. And then this plus means that the bigger factor is positive. Okay, so let's just go through our factors. We can have 1 goes with 12 because 1 times 12 is 12. Okay, and then 2 goes with 6, and then 2 times 6 is 12. But now the gap between 2 and 6 cannot give us 1. Okay, we go to 3. 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. Yes, yeah. If the other one is negative and the other one is positive, we can get a gap which is the difference of 1 here, because here we have plus 1. But which one is going to be negative now? The smaller one must be negative and the bigger one must be positive. You see that? Then 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. 4 minus 3 is 1. So can create our brackets. 4 minus 3, x minus 3, x plus 4. We have factorized the numerator, this one. We have our mark there. And then I say the other method, some people do this. First term x squared can be x times x. And then negative 12, let's just use this. It can be negative 3 times 4 or 4 times negative 3. Okay, we're checking for the combination that can give you a plus x here. Then multiply that, get 4x. Multiply that, you get negative 3x. Then what is 4x minus 3x is positive x. You see that? So this is the combination we want. X plus 4 and then x minus 3. Those are the factors. Right. And then did you factorize the denominator? What did you get? 12 minus 4x. What are we going to use here? The highest common factor, which is what? Which is 4. Let's factor out 4. And then we get 3 minus x. Do you see that? Okay. Right. And then we have our solution there. We've factorized. Do you see that? And then, can we cancel this bracket and this bracket? Can we do that? We can't create terms. Why? Because they are not the same. Okay. X minus 3 is not equals to 3 minus x. Okay. So what do we do here? We factor out the negative 1. So it becomes x minus 3 equals to minus x minus 3. Remember that. Okay, you swap them to create a common bracket. We swap the things around and then we factor out negative 1. Okay, then these two are equal. So we'll do this to this one. And then it becomes minus 4 x minus 3. Do you see that? Now then we can say x minus 3 divided by x minus 3. And then what do we get? It simplifies to that. Now, factorize correctly. Factorize correctly. Change the sign of the bracket correctly, and then you have your final answer there. A lot of marks, 4 marks there. Okay, right. So if you did not change the sign there, you can do that now. Okay, how many did you get out of 4? Maybe 2, 3, 4 out of 4. Well done. Okay, let's move on. So now I'm going to be giving you work to do. It's the same thing. Factorize, cancel the same brackets, identical brackets, just like that. Okay, you have to identify your factorization. Remember, factorization using the highest common factor, factorization of the trinomial, factorization using the difference of 2 squares, and then difference in sum of 2 cubes. Remember those 4. Right, now let's look at this one. Oh, there is a free mark here. Who can tell us where we're getting our free mark from? Free mark. Tip and times. Division there. Tip and times. That's a free mark. Okay. Let me give you that step there. Free mark, tip and times is a mark. Okay. Now, I'm thinking of giving you just 2 minutes to try this. 2 minutes. Okay. And then even if you don't finish in 2 minutes, don't worry. Okay, I'm going to guide you nicely. We're going to move together. I want those who can to try, and then those who want to try also to continue trying. 2 minutes, continue from here. For these 4 learners, it's very easy. Factorization of the highest common, using the highest common factor, difference of 2 squares, the trinomial factorization, and also difference in sum of 2 cubes. Just look for those things and try to factorize using those and see if you can. You're going to be surprised to find that you can do this thing. Let's try. Welcome back, grade 10s. I really hope you tried and you got your answers correctly. Right. We got a question or input from Pomelelo Secondary School, like factorization is giving problems. Someone there is having problems with factorization. Okay, so we're going to be revising factorization. Every question that we are going to be doing today, yes, factorization. So I really hope that by the end of the day, or before the end of the lesson, you'll be understanding what factorization is. But again, at the end of the lesson, we're going to have WhatsApp interaction where I'm going to be answering questions. If you still don't understand, please send us your question again. Okay, right now, grade 10s, let's check. We have here this one. What do you see here? What do you see, grade 10s? I see difference of two squares. And then here, I see a quadratic trinomial. Okay, right, difference of two squares. Let me remind you. Do you remember that we say x squared minus y squared is equals to x, which is the square root of x squared minus y, and then x plus y. Do you remember that? That is the difference. This is how we factorize the difference of two squares. And then now remember, 4 is a square number. So it can be written as, I'm doing this one now, it's going to be x squared minus 2 squared, because 4 is 2 squared. Okay? And then what is it going to be? It's going to be x minus 2, x plus 2. We have factorized this one. How many people got that? Well done. Now let's go to the quadratic trinomial. Maybe that's where the problem is. Okay, let me try to explain this. Okay, x squared plus 2x. Okay, people use different methods when it comes to this. So that's why I'm trying to use these two methods so that what? So that I try to cover all of you. Okay, because maybe taught a different method in the classroom. But now what you do, look for the factors of -8. So that if you add those factors, they give you +2. If you multiply them, they must give you -8. If you add them, they must give you +2. Okay? Some people use numbers only, like 4 and 2. Some people even use 4x, 2x. You see that? Right, but it doesn't matter. At the end, we must get the correct answer. So what are those factors? So you look for the different combinations. We can multiply 1 by 8 to get 8, isn't it? But can this combination give us a 2? It's impossible, even if the other one is negative and the other one is positive. We go to the next combination. It's 2 times 4. 2 times 4. This combination can work because if, okay, before I give you the combination, now this negative shows you that the other one is negative, the other one is positive. Then this positive, the coefficient of x, you sign for the coefficient of x, it is the sign of the bigger factor. So it means here 4 is the bigger one, so it is going to be plus. Therefore 2 is going to be negative. So if the coefficient of x squared is 1, you don't need to do the long method. You don't need to do that, okay? All right, you can just put your -2, you say x minus 2, then the other one, x plus 4. Done. You'll be done, okay? And then there's another method where people try the different combinations. X squared, obviously, there's only one way it can be x times x. And then -8, you try, maybe try -1 and 8, -8 and 1, -2 and 4, like that. But I know that I can check and see, no, the combination should be 4 and -2. And then I just cross multiply to confirm my answer. X times 4 is 4x. X times -2 minus 2x. And then you add this. 4x minus 2x is 2x. You see that? So we're getting the middle term here. So it means the combination x plus 4 and x minus 2 these are the factors. You see that? So you're still getting that. I really hope Pomelelo Secondary School, we managed to learn something. Okay? Now, let's put our factors. We've factorized now. You see that? Now, can we cancel across a times? Yes, we can. Right, I want you to look at this whole thing here. How many terms do you see there? How many terms? I know some people say 2. Okay, is it 2? No, it's not 2. Do you see that? That is one term. This is one term because there's no addition, plus or minus between these two terms. These two, this and this. I can't say two terms because there's no two terms. So this is one term. So you can cancel across a times, but you cannot cancel across a plus. You cannot cancel across a minus. What do I mean by that? Let me just explain that. Let's say we have 3 over 2 plus 9 over 4. We cannot say 2 into 2, 1, 2. No, there are no factors. Let me do it the other way. 3 over 2 plus 4 over 9. Right. You cannot say 2 into 2, 1, 2 into 4, 2. You can't do that. But if it is 3 over 2 times 4 over 9, you can do that. You can say 2 into 2, 1, 2 into 4, 2. So you can cancel across the times, but you cannot cancel across what? A plus. Okay, very soon you're going to be doing addition. Right, now, we can say x minus 2 divided by x minus 2 is 1. And then x plus, sorry, they are started with 2. 2 into 2, 1, 2 into 4, into 8, 4. And then, yeah, done. Done. We have everything. Now it's going to be 4 times x plus 2 over x plus 4. We have simplified that. I really hope you managed to learn something great tense. Okay? Please send us your input 064-748-8913. Okay? Right. Now I want us to be moving to addition and subtraction. This is another one. I'm going to explain this one. I'm not going to give you time, but if you want to try before me, please do so. Okay? Right, you should be moving to addition and subtraction now. There's a free mark that I see there. What is it? Tip and times. Tip and times, because it's division. That's a free mark. Okay? Now, I have this. I have this. I have this. What things can I factorize here? Things I can also look for things that I can easily factorize, because I can try factorizing this and find that it's not factorizable. Okay, there are obvious things that we can factorize here, like this one here. What is that? Anyone who remembers? It's difference of 2. Difference of 2 cubes. Do you remember that? We did that in the previous lesson. Let me remind you. Right, x cubed minus y cubed is going to be, how do you create the first bracket? Cube root of x cubed is x. Maintain the sign. Minus is minus. Cube root of y cubed is y. That's your first bracket. We did those steps together. We're revising. Do you see that? And then your second bracket, square x, x squared. Change the sign. It's now minus, it becomes plus. Multiply x and y, xy. Always positive, plus. Square the y, y squared. This is how we factorize difference of 2 cubes. The sum of 2 cubes is going to be almost like that, but it's going to be like this. Equal to x plus y, and then x squared minus xy plus y squared. Okay? Right. Now, let's go to 8x cubed. Now, this 8x cubed, remember 8 is 2 cubed. So it's going to be 2x cubed minus 1 cubed. 1 is 1 cubed. Okay? So now, let's factorize that. What do you get? Cube root of 2x cubed is 2x. Maintain the sign. Cube root of 1 cubed is 1. First bracket. Okay? Second bracket, what do we do? Square 2x. It's going to be 4x squared. Change the sign. It's going to be plus. Multiply 2x and 1. It's going to be 2x. Always positive. Always positive. Square 1. 1 squared is 1. You factorize. Interesting. We have this bracket here. We have that. Do you see that? It's going to be interesting. Okay, we also have 2x minus 1 here, we have 2x minus 1 there. Do you see that things are going to be very nice here? Okay, now let's put our factors now. We've factorized. And then, can we cancel? Yes, we can. Cancel that, you cancel that. It's 1, and then that divided by that is 1. So, denominators, we have 1 times 1. Numerator, we have 1 times 3. Remember, these are the ones. 1, 1, 1. So, you see that. So, it's going to be 3 over 1, which is 3. We have simplified. Okay, right. Now, that was multiplication and division of fractions. Now, I want us to go to addition and subtraction. Addition and subtraction. Right, we did a question like this in our baseline activity. Okay, do you remember that? I'm going to give you 1 minute to try this one. We did a baseline activity. If you still have it, you can check. Let's go back a bit and check where you did your baseline activity. I'm going to give you 1 minute to try this one. Simplify 3x over 1x minus 1 plus 7x over x minus 1. Let's try that. 1 minute. You need 1 minute for that. Let's try. Right, welcome back, grade 10s. Right, so this question about division of algebraic fractions, we are going to revisit that at the end of the lesson. Okay, right. So also we'll try to move slowly together so that we cover things, the things that we cover, we understand them. Okay, thank you for that input. Right, now what did you do, grade 10s here? The denominators are the same. Do you see that? So remember what we said. We said that, let's say we are adding 3 over 7 plus 2 over 7. If the denominators are the same, you just say 3 plus 2 over 7. You see that? Okay, it becomes 5 over 7. So now here the denominators are the same. So it's going to be 3x plus 7x over x minus 1. Do you see that? It's just the same thing, grade 10s. The way we deal with the numerical fractions is the same way we deal with what? With our algebraic fractions. Please don't think it's complicated. How do we add fractions? The thing that we learned from primary school is still the same thing. Okay, how do we multiply fractions? It's still the same process. It's only that now we find the x's and the y's and all those things. Then they're becoming algebraic fractions. Okay, right. Now, and then I've done that part then. So the solution is 10x over x minus 1. Don't forget to add like terms or to subtract like terms. Okay, remember that you can add or subtract like terms. Okay, right. And then we have this one now. 3 over x minus 3 plus 7 over x plus 3. Right, let me give you this one. I'll say 2 over 3 plus 1 over 2. How do we add such? Okay, please don't try to write everything that you see. Just concentrate on the activities, okay, that I give you. Otherwise, you try to write the whole slide, you are going to be left behind. Please just concentrate on the activities, okay? Right, now, how do we add these fractions? Right, we have to find the LCD here, the lowest common multiple. Remember, the lowest common denominator is actually the lowest common multiple. What is the lowest common multiple of 3 and 2? It is 6. So what must we do to this 3 to get 6? We must multiply it by 2. Okay, but if we multiply the denominator by 2, we must multiply the numerator by 2. So it's going to be 2 times 2 over 3 times 2. You see that? These are called equivalent fractions. Equivalent fractions. 4 over 6 and 2 over 3 is one thing. And then what do I do to 2 to get 6? I multiply by 3. So I multiply by 3 over 3 there. You see that? And then I get 4 over 6 plus 3 over 6. And then now the denominators are the same, isn't it? Then I can what? I can add and say what? And say this is equal to 7 over 6. It's the same thing. So now, what is the LCD here? Make sure that every denominator is represented in your LCD, but don't repeat it. Okay? So now it's going to be x minus 3 times x plus 3. That is the LCD. Okay? So what do we do to x minus 3 to get this LCD? We must multiply by x plus 3, the numerator and the denominator by x plus 3, like this. You see that? We've multiplied by x plus 3. What do we do to x plus 3 to get this LCD here? We have to multiply by x minus 3. See that? We've multiplied by x minus 3 like that. So now the denominators are the same. Okay? The denominators are the same. Do you see that? Now we can add our numerators because the denominators are the same. Because same thing here. We managed to add 4 and 3 because the denominators are the same. So now the denominators are the same. We add the numerators. Okay? I'm going to be explaining everything now because of time, but I'll try to be very, very slow. Please, if you need to ask questions, do so. At the end of the lesson, we're going to answer those questions. Right. Okay? Now, it's going to be 3x plus 9 plus 7x minus 21, sorry. I have written on top of these things. Okay? And then you get something. Can we simplify this? We collect the like terms. What is 3x plus 7x? Is 10x. What is 9 minus 21? Minus 12. And then you can simplify your answer like that. Okay? Right. And then I really hope that people understood that. Then I'm tempted to try this again because I hope it's clear. Let me just quickly go through it. 3 over x minus 3 plus 7 over x plus 3. I want the denominators to be the same. So the LCD here is x minus 3, x plus 3. Okay, so I have to multiply this by x plus 3, this one by x plus 3, and then I multiply this one by x minus 3. What I do to the numerator, I do to the denominator. So it becomes 3, then x minus 3, and then x plus 3. I'm multiplying the numerator and denominator by the same thing. You see that? I've done that. These are equivalent fractions. And then 7 x plus 3. And then I have to multiply by x minus 3 here. But I have to do that also to the numerator and denominator. Now the denominators are the same now. So I can have this top part. I've distributed here. Is 3x. 3 times x here is 3x. 3 times 3 there is plus 9. Plus 7 times x there is plus 7x. Plus 7 times negative 3 there is negative 21. Do you see that? Distribution. Do you see distribution? And then over our common denominator, which is x minus 3, then x plus 3. And then from there, I think you can what? You can simplify this to 10x minus 12. Okay? Right. Let's move on to the next one. Okay? Let's try to move together. Let's try to move together. Time is not on our side. Right. What do you see here, grade 10s? What do you see there? Difference of 2 squares. Remember that. To simplify algebraic fractions, you need to what? You need to factorize. Okay, so it's difference of 2 squares. So that will give us what? X squared minus 1. It should be x minus 1. Then x plus 1. Okay, that's why we have that now. So now, what is the LCD? If you look at this fraction and this fraction, what is the LCD? It's x minus 1 times x plus 1, isn't it? Okay, so that's the LCD. So x minus 1 times x plus 1. Okay, this one here, it appears is there, is represented, x plus 1 is represented. Okay, I cannot repeat this, remember that. Okay, the bracket just appears once in the LCD. That's the LCD. So now, the first term here, this one, the LCD is there, it's x minus 1, x plus 1. But if you check this one here, we have to multiply this by x plus 1 and multiply this 3 by x plus 1. Okay, so we have to say 2x over x minus 1, x plus 1, like that. This one, the LCD is there, plus, then 3, we have to multiply x minus 1, and then multiply by x plus 1, then multiply this by x plus 1. Do you see that? So that the denominators are the same. Okay, so that the denominators are the same. Okay, and then now we can simplify our things. Let's remove the bracket. What is 3 times x? Should be 3x, isn't it? What is 3 times 1? Is 3. Please be careful. This one is positive, so it's not going to affect anything there inside the bracket. But if it's negative, you have to be very, very careful. After this, I'm going to show you the one with the negative. And then you'll get something like this. Do you see that? And then we can say 3 times x here, 3 times 1 here. You get 3x plus 3. And then can you simplify that? It's still not... Okay, I went straight to the simplify thing here. Let me show you. Right, it's 2. I'll just show you the top part. Right, 2x plus 3x plus 3. You see that? Okay, because we distributed the 3 there. And then, what is 2x plus 3x? 5x. And then 5x plus 3. You see that? Okay? Right, that's where we got this. Okay? And then, let's go to the next one. You've done a lot of questions, grade 10s. I really hope you are still there and you're still trying your best. It's not easy to do all these questions at once, but we have to keep on trying. Right, now, what do you see here, grade 10s? We're almost there, guys, almost finishing. What do you see there? You see the difference of 2 cubes. Remember, 1 is a square number, 1 is a cubic number. Do you remember that? Okay, right, remember that. So now what do I do here? I have to, okay, let me go to this part. Right, we have to, I haven't changed anything. I just factorized this part. Let me just show you how we did that. Right, it's like x cubed minus 1 cubed. Do you agree with me? Okay, 1 is, you can write it as 1 squared, you can write it as 1 cubed, you can write it as 1 to the power 4, 1 to the power 1000, 1 to the power anything is 1. Okay, right, now this is difference of 2 cubes. It is equals to, let's factorize it together, cube root of x. Now you should be knowing how to factorize the difference of 2 cubes. I know the last lesson, there were a lot of things, but now we're still revising it. Do you see that? Now, x cubed, cube root of x cubed is x. And what do we do? Let's do it together. Same sign. Cube root of 1 cubed, 1. We're done with the first bracket. Second bracket, what do we do? X squared. We multiply x and, change sign before that. Multiply x and 1, x. Always positive, and then we square 1, 1. Do you see that? You see, that's how we got this part here. This is factorized to this. Okay? Now, almost there. And then, what is the LCD, grade 10s? What is the LCD? Just look at these two. Okay, what is the LCD there? It should be x minus 1, and then x squared plus x plus 1. These two brackets, isn't it? Okay, so that is the LCD. So now, what do we need to do there? We have to say x minus 1, then x squared plus x plus 1. Now, this one, we have to multiply by x minus 1, so that we have the same denominator. Minus 3, and then x minus 1. Okay, we have to multiply both sides by x minus 1. X minus 1. Right, let me put this x squared here so that people do not get confused. And then I multiply by x minus 1. Remember that, okay? Right, and then now the denominators are the same. Do you see that? Okay, the arrangement here does not matter. Remember, multiplication is what? Commutative. A times B is just the same as B times A. So this bracket times this bracket is just the same as this bracket times this bracket. Okay? We have to be careful, grade 10s. There's a negative here. Okay? It's going to affect what is inside the brackets, isn't it? Okay, let's continue. All right. That is too late. It came late now, the LCD. We have done it. So this is our LCD now. We have done that part. We have done this part. Now we have multiplied this numerator by x minus 1, this denominator by x minus 1. Now the denominators are what? Are the same. Now you have to be very, very careful with the minus. You have to be very, very careful. See, it's minus 3. Because of this, it's minus 3. Do you see this? The minus 3, negative 3. And then we're going to be distributing that negative 3. Remember, the sign comes before the number. So now we are distributing negative 3. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3. Please be careful, okay? And then we have something like this, okay? Then we can simplify, because these are like terms. We can add them or subtract them. We get minus 2x. Then I can write like this. This and this is just one thing, okay? Right. Remember, if you check, the 2x goes with each side, isn't it? Minus 2x. Then 3 goes with each side, which is positive. So it's just the commutative property there. Okay? Right. I really hope that grade 10s, you learn something. It may not be enough. It will never be enough. But what do you do after this? You go back, look at the past papers, you continue consulting, and you work and work and work and work. Try to remember what you have learned in this lesson. Try to apply what you have learned in this lesson. Okay? Right. So now I want you to copy the homework, and then just for 2 minutes, I'll give you 2 minutes to copy the homework, and then after that homework, I'll just get a few questions. Maybe it may not be all of them, but a few questions that we can talk about, and then we discuss them after that. Just 2 minutes. Welcome back, grade 10s. Thank you very much. I really hope that you managed to copy the homework. After this, try that, okay? We thank you very much for the question. The question was about, I don't understand how to simplify algebraic fractions using division, and then also on the difference of two squares. Let me try to use an example to try and explain these two concepts once, okay? Right. Right, before, okay, let me see. I'll go back to the summary. Let me go back. Let me see this. Where is it going? Okay, let me use this space here. Okay, right. Now, let's say we have, I just created a question. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but I really hope that it's going to work. X squared plus 5x plus 6 over x squared minus 4, then divided by x plus 3 over 2. The question is about how do I simplify algebraic expressions by division. What did you say? You tip and times, isn't it? That's the first thing you do. So it becomes x squared plus 5x plus 6 over x squared minus 4 times 2 over x plus 3. You see that? You have your mark for that. Okay? And then check for the things you can what? You can factorize. Okay? Check for the things you can factorize. If you factorize this, the factors of positive 6 that can give us positive 5 is plus 3 and plus 2. You see that? So you can have your x plus 3, x plus 3, x plus 2. Okay? And then if you check this difference of two squares, x squared is a square, 4 is a square. You are finding the difference between those two. How do we factorize difference of two squares? You say x squared minus y squared is equals to x minus y, x plus y, isn't it? Okay, you see that? Now, and then now we can use that and say x, because 4 is 2 squared. So you can say x minus 2 and then x plus 2. Do you see that? And then times 2 over x plus 3. You see that? Okay. Then now we can cancel. X plus 3 divided by x plus 3 is 1. X plus 2 divided by x plus 2 is 1. And then we just remaining with the top. We're remaining with 2 over x minus 2. You have simplified. I tried to revisit difference of two squares and also how we deal with division of algebraic fractions. Okay, right. Let's summarize our lesson, then we'll be done. Grade 10s. Right, we say that when simplifying algebraic fractions, factorize in order to simplify. Don't forget that. And then when adding or subtracting fractions, make the denominators be the same. Okay, the LCD, remember that. Okay, right. When adding or subtracting fractions, factorize the denominators and determine the LCD. Remember that, grade 10s. Okay, let's meet again in our next lesson, grade 10s, where we're going to look at what the exponential expressions and how we can solve exponential equations. Remember, grade 10s, to take care of each other, to stay safe. Okay, remember to sanitize, social distance, and always respect. Let's meet again in our next lesson. Goodbye.